Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the MeanGene Show right here on iHeartRadio. I haven't said that in a long time because it's been a long time since I specifically did a show for iHeartRadio. We are doing it on iHeartRadio this week because the great folks at KDWN in Las Vegas are taking the weekend off for Thanksgiving. They so much deserve that. They have been so great to the Mean Gene Show. And I said, okay, well, what are we going to do? We got to talk about the NFL because there was so many games that was played on Thanksgiving Day. We're going to talk about the three games that was played yesterday, as well as the remaining games that will be taking place for Week 12 of the National Football League. And I said, oh, hey, we can do the iHeartRadio show. And believe it or not, and if you didn't notice, the Mean Gene Show, which airs every Saturday night at 10 p.m. Pacific time in Las Vegas, well, it's also streamed on iHeartRadio.com if you didn't know that. So for those of you on the East Coast, and it's kind of late, okay, I get it. But you can always, if you're up, if you're a sports junkie, you just got to have that fix. And I know it's like 1 o'clock in the morning there on the East Coast, but you can stream it. And I know you're up because I see the numbers. I see that you are up and you're listening because I see my iHeartRadio numbers, which are leading, by the way, in the streaming categories because Spotify and all of that other stuff. I didn't mean to get into all of that, but I just had to kind of, mention that. That's why iHeartRadio is so, and that's why we're doing the show for Week 12 of the National Football League right here on iHeartRadio. So it's Black Friday, and I know a lot of people are out there shopping and getting all that stuff done. So that's why I don't really care if you're not listening right now because you shouldn't be. You should be out there getting all those great deals and taking advantage of all that stuff because you're going to listen to this show later. I already know that. You're going to listen to it later and you're going to get your fix on then. And you're going to thank me for acknowledging that you were out there shopping. And you're probably going to email me and tell me all the great deals that you got and all of that stuff. But I'm the one that's missing out on all the good stuff, right? I just have never been one of those ones that rush out there. And I guess last night would have been the time, right, to go out there. But who's going to go out there and shop when you're full of, turkey and dressing and all of that stuff? I couldn't do it. And then there was like these games on last night and all of that stuff. And then, the Crown Royal and all the other stuff, beverages that you may have had. I couldn't do it. But anyway, Thanksgiving was great for me. I hope it was great for you. Gene Thompson Jr., my son, was over. So I had to sort of, show off my skills in the kitchen. I made this Southern style homemade dressing for the first time ever in my life. And if you know anything about dressing, and all of that stuff, now in the years past, I have gone out and catered some Thanksgiving meals and had stuffing. Just got tired of the stuffing. And sometimes, it just tastes like glue and all of this stuff. Anyway, so I made dressing. It turned out really, really good. Cannot wait to get into the leftovers stuff because that's when it gets really good. But anyway, it turned out great. And, we enjoyed Thanksgiving. My son is a big time Raiders fan, so he definitely enjoyed yesterday's game. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about that stuff. But yeah, so it turned out great. So I hope you had a great one as well. We're going to talk about the three games yesterday. Week 12 kicked off with the Bears versus Lions, the Raiders and Cowboys, and the Bills and the Saints. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to let you know the teams that have a bye this week. And folks, interesting enough, when you have a bye this late in the season, week 12, it's an advantage, I think. And I've said this in previous shows years ago. There was a team a few years ago that had a late week, a late bye this late in the season, and they won the Super Bowl. And we're going to talk about that. And and they have another bye this late in the season too, and they also are in first place. So we're going to talk about that because I tend to think that it is an advantage even with this 17 game schedule. So we'll talk about that. We're also going to talk about the offensive players of the week. Um, for the AFC Defensive Players of the Week for the AFC and the NFC. We'll talk about that before we get into all of that stuff. So, how about we just jump right into the Thursday night games there? Bears versus Lions. That was the first game that we all got a chance to watch. And once again, the Lions lose by a field goal with seconds left in the game. I don't know. This team, oh my goodness. I don't know what it's going to take for the Detroit Lions to win a game, and it's just bad. When are they going to stop showing them on Thanksgiving Day? I mean, I don't know how long it's been, and I don't think the Lions have won a game on Thanksgiving. In what the last, maybe it was 4 or 5 years ago, the last time they actually won a game. But it's just a bad team. It's really, really, really bad. And I know people are just tired of watching them play on Thanksgiving, especially in a year that they haven't won a game, and everybody is just waiting and waiting and waiting. You could just see the look on the team, the fans' faces yesterday when it just looked like they were going to have that opportunity, but once again they get beaten right at the end by a field goal, and we've seen it so many times. And the Lions continue to just stink it up for the 2021 season. They lose 16-14. They are now 0-10-1, and I guess at this point you almost have to count that tie as a victory because it's not a loss, or else they would be 0-11. But man, just crazy. And on the other hand, with the Bears, 4-7, they don't really have a whole lot to be, cheering about either over there. But they did get the win on Thanksgiving Day. So that was your first game. And then how about the second game? Oh my goodness. Um, I believe this game was the total points on this game was right at 50 or 50 and a half or something like that. Well, they kind of blew that out the window even before the overtime, right? Um, but the Raiders versus Cowboys, I guess the big storyline here was the officiating, okay, which was bad for both teams, if you ask me. I believe there was probably over 200 and some 50 something yards worth of penalty yards there, and that was just crazy. And I hate to see when the officials just have to be the story, because there were some penalties for both the Raiders and the Cowboys that just didn't have to be penalties. It was just some ticky tack stuff that, okay, when you watch other games, and I understand each officiating crew is going to do things the way they want to do things. I mean, it's just not always just one official. I mean, they get together and they decide, okay, this is how we're going to call a game. And once you make that decision, then you're in it. You got to stick with it. So I could say they were consistent as far as bad calling goes, because you just, once you're there, once you make that decision that you're going to call everything, then you got to go there. And they called a lot of crazy stuff, and it was just horrible, and it's just sad, and especially on a Thanksgiving Day, you have a national audience watching this stuff, and there was just no need for some of the craziness, some of the holding penalties, some of the pass interference penalties. And I'm gonna say both teams were the beneficiaries of bad officiating. And and it's just sad because how does the NFL, and this is not the first game. I mean, this is starting to be really a bad problem with the NFL. And of course, if you say anything, you're going to be fined. And I think Jerry Jones this morning did say something, or even after the game last night said something. I haven't seen anything about what the Raiders said. I don't think they said much because everyone knows, that's a delicate subject there to complain about the officiating. But it was bad. It was just totally bad. The Raiders won the game 36-33. Either team could have won in regulation. It was just crazy, just totally crazy. But I will say, it seemed like every time the Raiders was making the drive, they would get calls on some critical, when they were just making some critical drives there. It seemed like every time they got the ball and was making some momentum there, they would get pulled back and just crazy. And it didn't. Now Cowboys got some bad calls, but it didn't seem when they were making some drives, and like they were able to complete their drives, but they still got some bad calls. So it's just crazy anyway. But the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm looking at the standings over in the NFC East Division. You know what? Things are just things are getting interesting. The Dallas Cowboys are now 7-4. The Philadelphia Eagles are 5-6. The Washington Football Team is 4-6. Things are getting interesting because the Cowboys have yet to play the Washington Football Team. I think they got to play them twice. I know they got another date with the Eagles and they got to play the Giants. This thing is not over. As a matter of fact, the next 5 or 6 games that's left in the NFL is going to be very, very interesting. So hold on, because Cowboys, that was a very big time loss uh, to the Raiders yesterday. And back in the day, everyone used to say, "Wow, wait till December and the Cowboys season will fall apart." And things, the Cowboys could lose 3 more games and finish the season. What is it, 17 games? So they could easily go 10-7. I mean, that could happen. So just hold on. I mean, there's a lot of football left, and then you got the Green Bay Packers there, sitting at 8-3. You got the Bucks sitting at 8-3. You got the Cardinals still at 9-2, and they still got a lot of games left too. But this thing is setting up for to be very interesting. But the Cowboys, man, they they're not just guaranteed. Now, I had really said that they were going to win the NFC East, but it's just not guaranteed now. They've dropped 2 in a row. So that was quite interesting. And then we had the last game there on Sunday. I'm sorry, not Sunday, but Thursday night was the Buffalo Bills and the Saints. And I really thought the Saints would get back into the win column, but especially at home in the dome, right? But Buffalo showed up very strong on the holiday, and they got the win over the Saints. Wasn't even close, really. 31-6. The Bills are now 7-4, and the Saints are 5-6. And now the Bills are tied in the AFC East with the New England Patriots. So things are going to get interesting there as well. So, man, interesting games there. 3 good games on Thanksgiving. We were all entertained. Some 8, 9 hours of good NFL football. Well, except for the Bears and the Lions. But what made that game interesting was that it was a NFC East conference game or a division game. I guess you can look at it that way. And it was oh so close for the Detroit Lions. It really would have been interesting had they won their first game on Thanksgiving Day, like so many people thought they would. All right, so okay, how about the AFC Players of the Week? This is always something that the NFL announces every week. They have the AFC Players of the Week and the NFC Players of the Week. AFC Players of the Week: running back Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts. You have defensive tackle Chris Jones of the Kansas City Chiefs and kicker Evan McPherson of the Cincinnati Bengals. They are your offensive players and defensive players and special team players of the week. And these were games played in Week 11. So congratulations to those guys. And I'm going to tell you how Jonathan Taylor won it. Taylor rushed for 185 yards on 32 attempts. I think, good Lord, he had 5 touchdowns, 4 rushing and 1 receiving. That was just absolutely crazy. And he was the first player in NFL history to record at least 175 yards, 4 rushing touchdowns, and 1 receiving touchdown in a single game. So I'm sure that jersey, cleats, and football will be in the Hall of Fame as I mean, that's just how they do things when there's a standout performance like that. You can guarantee that stuff is going to be in Canton, Ohio. And then Chris Jones, the defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, he recorded 5 tackles, 3.5 sacks, forced fumble recovery in the pass defended in Kansas City's 19-9 win over Dallas. So, and his 3.5 sacks are the second most in a single game by an AFC player this season. So, standout performance. And this is why folks are really raving over the Kansas City Chiefs defense, which is something that is unheard of in previous years, and even has been contributed to the Chiefs' woes as far as them not just being that all around great team because they haven't really had a good defense. Well, now they got a good defense there, and they got a good offense, and they have turned things around completely, going from worst to first in the AFC West. So, and Chris Jones is a big reason for that. And then on special teams, you got to have a special teams guy. Usually it's the kicker, Evan McPherson with the Bengals. He connected on all 4 field goals attempts, and he did it from a pretty good distance too. 54 yards, 53 yards, 51 yards, and 47 yards. And then he had 2 of his 3 point after attempts, and for a total of 14 points in Cincinnati's 32-13 win over Las Vegas in Week 11. So big props to those AFC players of the week. And now over to the NFC players of the week. How about this wide receiver, Justin Jefferson of the Minnesota Vikings? And it was who was Chandler Jones for the Arizona Cardinals, and then another kicker, Jake Elliott of the Philadelphia Eagles. They were your NFC players of the week. So Jefferson had 8 receptions for a league leading 169 yards and 2 touchdowns in that 34-31 win over Green Bay. Jefferson plays with the Minnesota Vikings, and that was his first Offensive Player of the Week award. I have a feeling this kid is going to have many more of those coming to him. Chandler Jones, man, he had 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 1 forced fumble in the Cardinals' 23-13 win at Seattle. And guess what? This ain't the first time for this guy. He has 6 Defensive Players of the Week honors, and man, in his second one this season. So Chandler Jones is a beast for the Arizona Cardinals. And Jake Elliott, he converted on all 4 of his field goals, had one from 50, 33, and 37, and 47 yards for the Philadelphia Eagles. So how about that? Congratulations to those guys for making the NFC Players of the Week. Okay, so we talked about buys in Week 12. This week, the Arizona Cardinals and the Kansas City Chiefs have a bye, and this is big time. This is really going to help these 2 teams. Week 12, there's only 5 more weeks for these 2 teams in the season, okay? And in Week 13, guess who have a bye? The Titans and the Packers. All right, to have a bye this late in the season is huge. I mean, I can tell you the year the Green Bay Packers won the Super Bowl in 2011. So we're talking about, 10 years ago? They had a late bye. And I remember saying it on the show. I think they had a bye in Week 10. So here we go again with a 17-game schedule. They have a late bye, which could benefit them, especially with that Dallas loss yesterday. You don't want Green Bay having home field advantage at Lambeau Field in January. Trust me. And then the Titans, they could also benefit from having a late bye now. So they have a bye next week. And and actually this wouldn't be a bad Super Bowl matchup if you look at these teams that have these late byes. Look, imagine a Cardinals Chiefs Super Bowl, okay, and then a Green Bay and the Titans Super Bowl. I mean, just imagine these. And I was talking to Mr. Picks. You guys have heard Mr. Picks on my show, Jeff Lambert Sr., who always putting together some nice odds and some over unders and all that great stuff. Guy's been hitting. He's been cashing in a lot here lately. But we talked about this, and some folks are, under the impression that the NFL, the fix is on sometimes, and I agree, But you look at these teams here. You look at Green Bay, Kansas City, Arizona, Tennessee. These teams are all playoff teams right now. Majority of them are in first place. Having a bye week this late in the season, come on, who figures this stuff out here? Who says, you know what? Yeah, let's give Arizona, who's 9-2, a late bye. Let's give Green Bay, who is what's Green Bay? 8-3, a late bye. Let's give Tennessee, who's 8-3, a late bye. Let's give Kansas City, who's all of a sudden in first place, a late bye. Come on. All of these teams are in first place. They're all in first place right now. And they have a bye. And the Cardinals and Chiefs have a bye this week. And next week, the Packers and the Titans have a bye in week 13. And that's even later. I mean, it's crazy. It's unreal. So anyway, and so here we're looking at the stretch run here. The last 5 or 6 weeks of the NFL season is going to be very, very interesting. And believe me, things could change the way they look currently in the NFL standings. And I'll go over the standings real quick before I jump into Sunday's action and Monday nights as we get into the final games for Week 12. Right now, starting with the American Football Conference, otherwise known as the AFC, we have the Buffalo Bills. They are tied with the New England Patriots in the AFC East at 7-4. Dolphins, Jets, don't have to worry, fans. Y'all can pack it in and do what you do in January when your teams are no longer relevant. Dolphins made the playoffs last year, but that ain't happening this year. In the AFC North, you got the Baltimore Ravens at 7-3, the Cincinnati Bengals 6-4, Pittsburgh Steelers 5-4-1, Cleveland Browns 6-5. Every team in the AFC North has a winning record. Yes, even the Pittsburgh Steelers at 5-4-1. Steelers, who we're getting ready to talk about here in a minute, because they got the first game on Sunday that we're going to talk about against those Bengals. And yes, things are going to get interesting because you got the 6-4 Bengals and the Steelers play. Bengals got the Steelers a couple of weeks ago. Steelers get the Bengals, man. Things are going to be interesting because the Bengals will still have a winning record. The AFC North is just always competitive. They are one of the few divisions. I think right now the only division in football every team has a winning record. And this is why over the years, 2-3 teams in this division have made the playoffs. 2 teams certainly will make the playoffs in this division now, maybe even 3. We should see. The Steelers with that tie, they really have to, kind of, toughen it up here down the stretch here. But the Ravens, man, barely hanging on there for that division lead. So that's interesting. Over in the AFC South, you got the Titans. They got to just keep winning. They got to keep winning because the Colts at 6-5 are just, really, really. Colts have played some very good football of late. No one's really talking bad about Carson Wentz now. They are really playing some great football there. And Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars, they are tied at 2-8. How did the Jaguars and Texans end up with the same record? I thought the Jaguars was going to be the worst team in the league. Actually, it seemed like it's the Detroit Lions are the worst, but the Texans are probably the second worst team in the NFL. Over in the AFC West, we talked about the Kansas City Chiefs, how they went from worst to first, but things are not over in the AFC West, as only one game separate the Chiefs, the first place Chiefs, and the last place Denver Broncos. The Broncos are 5-5. The Chiefs are 7-4. So things are not over in the AFC West. So if you're listening out there, Denver Bronco fans, Las Vegas Raiders fans, that win last night really helped the Las Vegas Raiders. They are 6-5. The Los Angeles Chargers are 6-4. I know for a fact the Chargers and Raiders have a date with each other January 7th, or is it January 9th? No, it's the 7th is the day I'm flying out there. I believe the 9th is the date of the game. So I will be at Allegiant Field again, or Allegiant Stadium again, the last game. And it could be the most meaningful game. Hell, it could be for the division. You never know. We don't know what the Chiefs are gonna do. We know they got to bye this week, though, right? So they get to sit around and lick their wounds or whatever if they got any, and 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 regroup, reload, so to speak. But right now, it's a tight division there, almost as tight as the AFC North. Okay, over in the NFC, let's start with the NFC East. I just kind of went over that one with the Dallas Cowboys 7-4, the Philadelphia Eagles 5-6, the Washington Football Team 4-6, New York Giants 3-7. So it's just not over yet. It's not over in the NFC. Whereas, because the Cowboys have so many games left to play against their own division, and that sucks. If you're a Cowboys fan, you would, at this late in the season, and with a 7-4 record, you would have hoped that your division is out the way, and you just play in a lot of non-conference type games. But that's not the case. I think the Cowboys still have to play Washington twice, and I think they got another date with the Eagles, and they got to play the Giants. That's a lot of games. That's the next 5 games is against all their division, and that's scary. Knowing that you only have a 2-game lead, they could lose the division, and it's serious. Especially losing games against the Raiders and the Chiefs hurt the Dallas Cowboys. Really, it really hurt. So stay tuned for the NFC East because it could get really, really interesting. All right, the NFC North, Green Bay Packers, 8-3. Minnesota Vikings, not over yet, not just yet. And 8-3. The Vikings 5-5. Bears, of course, we know Lions don't have anything to worry about. Those animals, all those animals, go ahead and hibernate. Well, actually, Bears come out in the winter. I don't know about the Lions. I don't know what they do, but Bears are definitely active in the winter. But not these Bears. You have to worry about the Chicago Bears. They're going to hibernate. They're going to go, and they won't be seen until next summer when they come out for mini camps and stuff like that. Well, no, they'll come out in April for the draft. But that's about it, though. Okay, over in the NFC South, the Buccaneers. Buccaneers 7-3, Panthers 5-6, the Saints 5-6, the Falcons are 4-6. So maybe it's not over yet. I don't have Tampa's remaining schedule in front of me, but they have 6 more games left to play. So I don't know if it's against their division or not. If they got a lot of division games left like Dallas, it's not over yet. But I can tell you in their division, and let's look at it because that would tell me, oh no, they got a lot of division games left. As a matter of fact, they are only 1-1 in their division. So guess what? Yeah, that tells me a lot. They have some more division games left. They got 4 more division games left. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could still lose the division to who I don't know. How about the Panthers? The Panthers are 2-0 in the NFC South. Very interesting. So yeah, stay tuned for that. And then to go back to the NFC North, the Minnesota Vikings are 2-0 in the division. So as Lee Corso says, not so fast. So things are interesting. The Dallas Cowboys are 2-0 in the division, but they have they have some more games. They got 4 more games left. So, oh wow, things. Yeah. So the NFL does this, and I think the last game of the year is always division games. So I think they might have tweaked things a little bit more with the 17 game schedule. But man, you do not want to. If you look at these teams that are just barely up by 2 games and they got all these division games left, that's why I said, man, stay tuned. This thing is not over yet. Okay, so now let's just look at the NFC West. The Arizona Cardinals, yeah, we know this division is tight. Arizona Cardinals 9-2. The uh, the Rams are 7-3. The 49ers 5-5, and the Seahawks are 3-7. Seahawks, they're done. I don't know what Seahawks do in the wintertime. Is there even such thing as a Seahawk? All right. Well, anyway, okay. I don't know. But anyway, the Cardinals are 4-0 in the division. So it's safe to say that they are going to win the NFC West, but it's also safe to say that somebody else is going to come out that division, probably the Rams. So you're going to get 2 teams in there in the playoffs. But yeah, they have just looked like they might sweep. I won't say they're going to sweep their division, but they certainly are in a good position to do so. So anyway, so that's the NFL standings. So as you can see, there's some interesting division runs still left in the NFC South, NFC North, and the NFC East, as well as the with the AFC North, because they still got to play each other a lot. So that's going to be interesting. So all right, let's go ahead and get started with the first game on Sunday, and that's going to put you right there with the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals, 5-4-1. The Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Steelers lose a thriller last Sunday night in L.A. That game looked like it was going to be all Chargers, and then next thing you know, the Steelers defense, who was basically depleted, no T.J. Watt, no Minka Fitzpatrick, and somehow they managed to play Steeler defense anyway, living up to their reputation, and managed to put their team in position to score. They lose 41-37. Gave up a late touchdown there that put it away for the Chargers. The Bengals win at Las Vegas 30-13. So I guess I got to pick somebody, right? Well, hey, I like the Steelers. Everybody know I love the Steelers. Actually, that's my team, right? I always have been my team. So I like the Raiders too. But in this game, because the Bengals punched the Steelers in the mouth earlier, Steelers coming off a loss, this should be interesting. And I'm not really sure of the injury status there. Steelers should have T.J. Watt, should have most of their defensive guys back, and I'm gonna say the Steelers know the importance of this game. They should get this win. Steelers lose this game, and it could really hurt their chances for even being a wild card team, because right now they're in the hunt, and they lose this game, they could fall out of the in the hunt category. And knowing Mike Tomlin has had a winning season in all of his years as head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think he finds a way to get this done and get it done on the road. They need a road win. They need a division win in a bad way to not just be in the hunt, but get back into that wild card standing. So I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers with a win on Sunday. Next game is the New York Jets 2-8 at the Houston Texans 2-8. Oh my goodness, do I really have to talk about this game? Um, Oh Jesus! Who wins this game? This is a toss-up, right? The only thing is I don't have anybody to toss this game up to, so I have to actually pick somebody. Well, how about we just go with the Texans, right? They're coming off a big win over Tennessee. They win 22-13. Jets lose to Miami last week 24-17. I'm gonna pick the Texans to win at home. I was actually considering going to a Texans home game because it's the Thanksgiving weekend and it's something to do. But I think I'll just stay home and watch the Bengals and Steelers instead. I got the Texans winning this game on Sunday. Next game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers 7-3 at the Indianapolis Colts 6-5. This is going to be a scary game for Tampa. Scary game. The Colts are playing good. Their defense is really really good, and the Tampa Bay defense is really good too, especially at stopping the run. They saw what Jonathan Taylor did last week. One reason why he was the one of the players of the week, the AFC Players of the week. I just talked about the numbers he put up last week. Crazy numbers. Don't think he's going to do that again. 5 touchdowns, right? 4 rushing, 1 receiving, but he's definitely something to key on. And I tell you what, if I'm the Colts, man, I'm thinking, well, look, the chances of Jonathan Taylor going out there and doing this again is slim to none. But I tell you what, though, we'll let the Patriots, not Patriots, but the Buccaneers defense key in on this guy, and we'll just pass the ball. We'll pass the ball. We'll put it up in the air to Michael Pittman. We'll try to get T.Y. Hilton or Jack Doyle involved, and we'll just pass. We'll pass. We want to, and see if they can beat these guys because I think this is a scary game. And I know that the Panthers and Panthers and the Falcons and those guys will be looking, thinking, man, if we can get Tampa to lose another game, and these NFC teams are losing like Dallas lose, they record is 7-4 now. The Buccaneers could lose this game, folks. They win Monday night over the Giants, 30-10. But as I said earlier, the Colts, man, they are a scary team. I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts to pull off the upset because, hey, look, this season, the last couple of weeks have been just crazy. You're crazy to think that every favorite team is going to win these games because that's not the case. And I'm gonna go with this one to be one of those games that Tampa's not gonna win. And I'm gonna say that the Indianapolis Colts is gonna win at home at Lucas Oil Stadium. All right, the next game, Atlanta Falcons 4-6 at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, I hate picking Falcons games because I just can't never get it right. Every time I pick the Falcons to win, they lose. Every time I pick them to lose, they win. So I'm going to say the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to lose because they should. I think the Falcons get the win. I just think they should be better than the Jaguars, right? They should be. Falcons, look here. They coming off a 25-0 loss over to the Patriots, and this is one reason why I'm probably gonna have to pick them. I couldn't see them losing 25-0 and then losing to a team that they shouldn't. Yeah, a 2-8 team, really. So let's just see how this one. I guarantee. I can't wait to come back and talk about it. If the Jaguars win this game, and it's just not me. It's every sports talk show host, odds maker. Mr. Picks have the same problem. No one could ever pick the Falcons to do what the Falcons are supposed to do. But anyway, I'm going to pick them to win only because they put up a goose egg in their last game, and that's the only reason why. So I got the Falcons beating the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jacksonville on Sunday. Next game, Carolina Panthers 5-6 at the Miami Dolphins 4-7. Don't really know what's going on with the Dolphins. They went over the Jets 24-17 as they should have, and then the Panthers. Cam Newton comes back in that one game where he scores those touchdowns and in his first appearance, and then he starts in his first start back with the Panthers. He loses to the Washington football team 27-21. So it's going to be interesting to see how they turn things around. I do like the Panthers to get the win because they know that everyone's in a tight race there, looking up at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the NFC South. So I got the Panthers winning over the Miami Dolphins on Sunday at Miami. Next game we have. This is going to be a really good game here. The Tennessee Titans 8-3 at the New England Patriots 7-4. It's an AFC conference game. It's not a division game. But man, Tennessee really need to get it going. They really need to get it going here. They lose to the Houston Texans. Really was a shocker. For some reasons it's just like when the Denver Broncos beat the Dallas Cowboys, or you get a game that every once in a while you just can't explain. And that was certainly one last week. But Tennessee, and then you get a good. I mean, this New England Patriots team is pretty damn good too. Um, wow, I say Tennessee gets back on track now. They have a bye next week, but they shouldn't be looking ahead. They got to take care of business because this is a dangerous Patriots team. And I can tell you right now, if teams in the AFC don't want to deal with Bill Belichick, then they got to beat them. It would be to everyone's advantage in the AFC to beat the Patriots. Uh, for the rest of the 5 or 6 games left. So Patriots got 5 more. They're 7-4. So yeah, the Patriots got 6 more games left. If you don't want to see the Patriots in the playoffs, then you got to beat them. For the remaining of the NFL schedule, because if they get in the playoffs, it could be scary. Okay, so I think, and if you don't Tennessee, you don't want to see the Patriots again, then you definitely need to do your part on Sunday and beat the Patriots. So I got Tennessee winning the game on Sunday. Next game, Philadelphia Eagles at the New York Giants. Could be a scary game for the Eagles because they could be, looking ahead and keeping their eye on the Cowboys, thinking, okay, man, we're just looking for that last game, and maybe that last game could be our division game. But they gotta pay attention to the schedule and the team that's in front of them, which is the Giants. And the Giants coming off a loss to Tampa on Monday. So short week there for the Giants. And then the Eagles. Now the Eagles have been playing some good football. They beat the Giants. I mean, they beat the Saints 40-29. Jalen Hurts has really been playing great. And of course, Jordan Howard, Dallas Goddard, Devontae Smith, they really have been playing some good football. So I think the Eagles know, and if they really want a chance at that division title or have a shot at it, they almost have to win out. But hey, these division games always pose a problem, and the Giants could be a problem. And guess what? I'm picking the Giants. I'm picking the Giants. I'm sorry. And I know there's some Eagles fans out there, and I got one of them is a close friend of mine, Terry Hopkins. You probably like, damn it, Mean Gene. Just when I thought I had you on my side, you do it to me again. No, because I know these division games, and I know teams. I've been around a lot of NFL teams in my days, and I know this NFC East division really well. And but the Giants, I don't know. They got a lot of issues going on too in New York, and they're trying to. They fired Jason Garrett. They just figured, well, that's why we losing. It's Jason Garrett's fault. So we'll see. So I don't know who's going to be calling plays for the Giants, but it won't be Jason Garrett, and whoever it is uh, might have himself a job permanently, and is going to be trying to make an impression as the offensive coordinator. So yeah, watch out, Philly. You gotta look at these little things here and understand why I'm picking the Giants. Okay, so I'm picking the Giants to beat the Eagles on Sunday. All right, the next game, AFC West conference game. Now, I mean division game. The Chargers 6-4 at the Denver Broncos 5-5. As I said, one game separates the entire AFC West from first to last place. And the Broncos are at home hosting the Chargers. And more importantly, they're coming off a bye. They last played in Week 10 against the Eagles, the team we just got through talking about there. And they lost to the Eagles 30-13. And then the Chargers coming off a win Sunday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers 41-37. Man, I like to say that these Broncos should get this win because they still playing for a chance to if not win the division, be a wild card. Every game is important. So, but the Chargers, man, am I going to flip flop here in the middle of this show? I think I am. I'm going to say the Chargers get the win. I'm going to say the Chargers get the win. They beat the Broncos, and they probably have more of a sense of urgency. I'm not going to say the Broncos don't have a sense of urgency, but sometimes teams get on a roll, and I kind of think the Chargers might be on a roll in some regards, and I just think the Chargers are the more talented team as far as this matchup goes. All right, the next game we have is the Rams and the Packers. This is going to be Mean Gene's game of the week. The 7-3 Rams at the Green Bay Packers. This is going to probably be one of your playoff matchups here. This could be your NFC championship game. This could be your NFC divisional game. This could this thing has NFC all over it. The Rams are coming off a bye, and believe me, they needed that bye. They lost to prior to going on that bye, they lost to the 49ers on that Monday night game, 31-10. Packers, they lost last week to the Vikings 34-31. Makes this game that much more interesting. So, oh my goodness. Wow, Aaron Rodgers, prior to last week, they were just playing some pretty good football. And this game is critical because with the Cowboys losing, somebody's going to join them at 7-4 or with 4 losses, right? So, of course, if the Rams lose, they're going to be 7-4. If Green Bay lose, they're going to be 8-4. And this is going to be critical here. I say that the Rams, because I think they get it together. They're coming off a bye, so they would have had an opportunity to work Odell Beckham in, to get Von Miller acclimated to the defense and get Odell acclimated to the offense and just kind of really work the magic. I say the Rams go to Lambeau and get the win Sunday, and it will be the Packers that lose and go to 8-4. That's my prediction, folks. So, and this is also Mean Gene's game of the week here on the Mean Gene Show right here on iHeartRadio. All right. So we have another game. The Minnesota Vikings at the San Francisco 49ers. Both teams are 5-5. Somebody's going to try to break that and get into the win column or the over 500 column. 49ers win at Jacksonville 30-10. Vikings win at Green Bay 34-31. One thing I've noticed about the Vikings, though, they have been up and down, up and down, up and down. I don't remember when they string 2 wins in a row. And same thing with the 49ers. I can't remember when they put together 2 wins in a row. So I'm going to take the 49ers at home to get the win. So, and this Deebo Samuel guy is just amazing. But, the Vikings, the sense of urgency is there for them because they know they're within a shot. Now, if Green Bay, who I just picked to lose, and if Minnesota lose, well, they still in the thick of things when it comes to Green Bay. So, it wouldn't necessarily hurt them. Of course, now if they win, it really helps them. But I got the 49ers winning at home on Sunday. All right. The Cleveland Browns 6-5 at the Baltimore Ravens 7-3. The afternoon games are a little bit more competitive because there's better matchups. And when I say afternoon games, I should have mentioned that the Broncos Chargers is an afternoon game. The Rams Packers is a late afternoon game. Late game. And the Vikings 49ers is a late game, as well as this Browns Ravens is a late game. I am going to say that the Cleveland Browns are going to beat the Baltimore Ravens because the Browns at 6-5, they really need this win. They really do. If the Baltimore Ravens win this game, they probably will win the AFC North. and I don't think people want that to happen. But I can't really say that yet because they have yet to play the Pittsburgh Steelers. They still got 2 games to play against the Pittsburgh Steelers. But a loss here would make things even more interesting in that division. I think Cleveland's up for the challenge. I think their defense is up for the challenge. With Nick Chubb back now, I think they can get it done. So I like the Browns to win Sunday in Baltimore. Next game, and this is your Monday night game because remember, there is no Sunday night game because basically your Sunday night game was played on last night, the Thanksgiving night game, because you heard Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth. That was your NBC Sunday night game played on Thursday night. I hope I didn't confuse you. So your Sunday night game was your Thursday night. I mean, was your Thursday night game was your Sunday night game. Okay, so we're gonna just jump all the way to Monday night. No Sunday night game because it was played on Thursday. Okay, that's all I should have said, right? I confused my damn self. All right. So Seattle Seahawks 3-7 at the Washington Football Team 4-6. Unfortunate, man. Seattle. It's crazy, and this game is going to be crazy because I'm going to pick Seattle. Yeah, yeah. Seattle's not going to go to the playoffs, but they're not going to lose the rest of their damn games either. And I think the Washington Football Team. They're playing great football, but this is the NFL. I mean, strange things happen. Seattle will get that fourth win. Washington to drop to 4-7, and I mean, people are saying that Russell Wilson is probably going to be playing somewhere else next year. Pete Carroll might retire or be coaching somewhere else next year, but you're just not going to see a team like the Seattle Seahawks just fold and just give up. I mean, I think they're definitely not going to be a playoff team, but they'll show up Monday night and win. I just don't see how they would just now if they lose out, then yeah, folding might be the appropriate word to use. But I just never seen a team that's still loaded with talent. I mean, good lord, you would think that they don't have a DK Metcalf or a Tyler Lockett or Bobby Wagner and Jamal Adams. I mean, this team is still loaded with talent, and it just doesn't really make sense that they're still going out there losing games. Now, to Arizona, I kind of get it. They are in a tough division, but man, I think they get the win. I think they get the win, and I think that both teams are coming off a loss. The Washington loses to Carolina last week. I'm sorry, Washington beat Carolina last week. I'm sorry. Sorry, Washington fans. But no, Washington wins last week. Seattle loses to Arizona, but I think they get the win. Pete Carroll, really frustrated. You can see it in the press conference he gave last week. But I guarantee you that the Seahawks get up there and get a win on Monday night. And like I said, I don't think it's going to change the season outcome, but they get the win, and I think the whole Seahawk team just sort of dismantles and breaks up, a little bit, but I think they get enough for another win or two before the season is over. So, all right, I think that's going to be it. That's it. That is it for Week 12 of the National Football League. We are going to wrap this thing up, and I am going to get out of here, get outside, get some fresh air, walk some of the excess pounds that I put on yesterday. You should probably do the same thing, or maybe you've already done it because you were out shopping on Black Friday, and you burn a lot of calories when you're going from store to store and lifting heavy items and all that stuff, and even gift wrapping, and that's you can burn calories doing that stuff too. But anyway, all right. So next week I will be back on radio in Las Vegas, KDWN 720 AM, 101.5 FM. Right, you can catch that. If you're, of course, in Las Vegas, you can listen to me live 10 p.m. Pacific time, or you can stream it right here on iHeartRadio. Okay, so all right, enjoy the rest of your Friday or your weekend or your Christmas shopping, all that great stuff. All right, we'll see you back here next week. Enjoy Week 12 of the National Football League. You have been listening to the Mean Gene Show right here on iHeartRadio.com.